Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, June 13th. In the upcoming days, the main concerns will be high base thunderstorms developing today and tomorrow over southern areas of the Great Basin, which have been critically dry for some time. This is where we'll see the highest coverage of lightning. However, we will have some isolated thunderstorms along the Sierra front going through the next few days. Also, well above normal temperatures are already ongoing over the western half of the Great Basin and will spread east going into next week with temperatures 12 to 18 degrees above normal. For fuels, fire danger will continue to rapidly increase with the incoming heat and the lightning, with many areas reaching the 90th to 97th percentile by early next week if they aren't there already. So looking at our fire potential impact slide, you can see most of the lightning over the next 2 days will be over parts of the Arizona Strip and southern and central areas of Utah. These thunderstorms will be a mix of wet and dry and definitely are falling on critical fuels. Any thunderstorms along the Sierra front will be very isolated the next couple of days, and then this will be followed by the rapidly warming temperatures. Over the last 24 hours, we haven't had really any precipitation across the Great Basin, but you can see a couple strikes on the Sierra front, and again, we'll see more of that isolated activity today. Over the last 7 days, very dry conditions across all of Nevada and Utah, and any moisture up north has still generally been below normal in most areas. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen just light initial attack across the Great Basin with just a few small fires. Looking at our current fire danger conditions, looking at ERCs here on the left, you can see most areas over southern, central, and eastern areas are above the 90th percentile overall for ERC. Areas further north and west are a bit lower, but all areas will be rapidly increasing. And again, we'll see many areas above the 90th or even 97th percentile going into next week. Also, looking at the days since recent precipitation here on the right, you can see many areas over the southern half of the Great Basin are in these yellow or orange circles, which is really over 30 days or even 60 days with no precipitation. And so these will be the areas that will see the lightning over the next 2 days. So looking at the weather pattern, we do have high pressure off the west coast and low pressure dropping south from the northern Rockies, and this will increase our instability and lift for thunderstorms over southern areas the next 2 days. Otherwise, Monday should be a lull day with thunderstorm activity with just the building heat. So we do have high risk in the south over parts of the Arizona Strip and southern Utah for the next 2 days for the increase in lightning and being on the drier side. And looking at some of our current ERC conditions and the forecast in these southern areas where we do have our high risk, ERCs are already above the 90th percentile and heading toward the 97th percentile, and will just continue rising. So looking at some of the details, and no significant wind gusts aside from the outflow winds associated with thunderstorms, which you can see over southern Utah and even southeastern parts of Nevada. So again, increasing our confidence of that development of thunderstorm activity. Otherwise, relative humidity will remain in the single digits to low teens going through the next couple of days, and we'll see those relative humidities really bottom out as we go into next week when temperatures peak. So looking at the precipitation, any precipitation we get over southern areas with these thunderstorms will likely be very sparse and on the lighter side, very localized, so we'll see how much develops, but you can see also that potential along the Sierra front with those isolated storms as well. Then as we get into Monday, we will start losing that lightning potential. I can't rule out a few strikes here and there lingering with the moisture as the heat builds, but really it's the next 2 days that are of the biggest concern. Then looking at temperatures, again, we are about 10 degrees or so above normal over the western side of the Great Basin. That will continue through the weekend, and then we'll see areas over all areas of the Great Basin really start to heat up next week. So looking at the weather pattern going into Tuesday through Thursday, high pressure remains, but we will have low pressure dropping south again. So we could see an uptick of winds as we get towards Tuesday and Wednesday in the north. That will be something to watch, and possibly even an increase in lightning as we get towards Thursday and Friday over western areas of the Great Basin. It's pretty far out, but it will be something we'll be watching. And then looking at our 7-day fire potential outlook, a lot more moderate risk on the map just with the building heat and very dry conditions along with poor overnight recoveries. And then if we do see that lightning signature enhance a little bit towards mid to late week, that might be something we may have additional high risk for. Looking at the details, again, Tuesday, Wednesday across the north, as that trough drops south, we could see that increase in west to northwest winds. So that will also be something we'll be paying attention to see if we need any high risk for those areas. But you can see the relative humidity really low single digits across much of the area. in Nevada and Utah especially, but also into southern Idaho as we go through the early to mid portion of next week. No real precipitation on the horizon, but we will be watching that Thursday time period as that potential for increase in thunderstorms again. But until then, the hottest days of the week should be Tuesday and Wednesday next week, as we see temperatures about 12 to 18 degrees above normal across the Great Basin, but still remaining hot with above normal temperatures all the way through next week. And a recap of the 7-day. So we do have our high risk the next 2 days over southern areas of the Great Basin for the mix of wet and dry thunderstorms in those areas of critical fuels. And then we will continue to see that moderate risk expand as we go into early to middle portion of next week, just with the heat. Also in any areas of recent lightning, as that heat builds, that will be something to pay attention to. And then we'll watch any lightning potential later next week. The 6 to 10-day outlook, taking us from June 18th through the 22nd, still shows continued hot temperatures, and really any precipitation would be in the Four Corners area. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.